Evanston Live TV. Please forgive my appearance. Please forgive my appearance right now, but I wanted to get this message out to you all. We didn't wrap on set till like 2:30 this morning, so I'm a little out of it, but not too out of it to bring you the latest information that you need to know and pay attention to. So I don't know when this is actually going to post, when we're going to get it, smooth and ready to get it out there for you all. But the most recent reparations meeting took place on Thursday, March 2nd at 9 a.m. They always choose a time when they know people can't attend. March 2nd, 9 a.m. on a Thursday. And there were some new developments that kind of blew people's mind. Now, many of you have already got the word because I did try to tweet while I was, working to let people know what's going on. I sent out a social media message to everyone to give them the latest. But I wanted to bring you all clips too, so that you understand there's no falsehoods coming out of Evanston Live TV. Evanston Live TV gets its information straight from the reparations meetings themselves. Okay, so the first clip that I'm going to play for you is of a resident here in Evanston, Mr. Weidman. He and his sister applied for Evanston reparations, and they were approved. And they've been waiting, like all the others, for a very long time to receive their benefits. Okay. Mr. Weidman receives the unfortunate call from the reparations committee that he and his sister no longer qualified to receive, and that they would officially be removed from the list to receive their reparations. It was very heartbreaking to watch. That meeting took place February 2nd at 9 a.m. So March 2nd's meeting is a response to that. Mr. Weidman came up to that podium and he was like, pretty much, what's up? Y'all got to give us something. You had the family waiting all this time. You approved them. You allowed them to apply. So they were just going to cut them. Just cut them. Like it's really, it is just a housing program. That's something you do with just a housing program. Like, oh, our error, sorry, you shouldn't have been approved. But when you're talking reparations, you pretty much told the Weidmans, yeah, you don't deserve reparations. We're going to have to take you off the list. See the difference? So the committee started feeling the heat that was wrong. You can't do that to people. You can't do that to people, even in just a simple housing program. But definitely dealing someone's reparations, just cut them off. Just cut them off. How cold-blooded can one get? So March 2nd's meeting, the chair of the Evanston Reparations Committee, Robin Ruth Simmons, was in a rush as always, just like they rushed to pass Evanston reparations when they should have taken their time and created a plan, because now we see the big mess. When you don't plan, now you see the repercussions of that. Now you're hurting people. You're hurting your own people. So she was in a rush we got to get them some money. We got to get them some direct cash payment. We got to get them 50 grand ASAP. And I would imagine it's to probably keep from getting sued or just looking bad in the press. Because, Evanston, that Evanston reparations PR train is a beast. Okay, it's got the world thinking Evanston Reparations is just ideal. So she rushed to get the committee to vote to give the Weidmans $25,000 apiece direct cash payment. Now, mind you, the community was always wanting direct cash payments. I mean, that was always number one. Before, people were talking about land and, housing or economic development or education. Direct cash payments was always at the top of the discussion, always. And the community was always told that's not going to happen. So the Evanston committee never fought for direct cash payments because they were told no, it couldn't be done. You'll be taxed. I mean, they came up with all sorts of excuses for why it couldn't be done. But the point is, we didn't even fight for it. And that was what the community, of course, would have preferred. So now all of a sudden, the community is looking like, well, wait, so now you can just go in and get that cash and give it to the Weidmans? When we were told 3 years ago, we can't do that. You can't give out direct cash payments, but you can go do it now to probably keep from getting sued or the press finding out, or I don't know what the rush was this time. It's always a rush to nothing. Just for PR's sake. Rush. Make us famous. Make Evanston famous. So of course, the Weidmans they deserve that 50 grand because that was wrong on so many levels. But if you're going to do it for the Weidmans, now we know you can do it for everybody. You can do it for everybody now. And it's only fair that you offer that to everyone.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm Kenneth Weidman, and I'm here to represent my sister and myself. I received a call the other day that my sister and I would be taken off the reparations list. My sister was number 8 and I was number 9, and it was told to me that in March that we would be eliminated, and in March. I do not have any property. My sister don't have any property, and we were on the list. And I come here this morning to ask the committee or people that's in charge what is possible that you can do, if you can make some changes or help my sister and I, since we don't have no property, and to be able to get something out of the reparations before we are eliminated. And I want to know if you all have made any kind of decision on, since I don't have any property, my sister don't have any property, if you made any provisions that could help my sister and myself out, since we were number 8 and number 9 on the reparations list. And I hope you could come up with some kind of decision that will help my sister and I out, since we don't have any property, and I hope that you can come up with something or any kind of changes or provisions that will, help both of us out. And if possible, and we stay on the list, I hope you can come up with something and let my sister and I know if you came up with something that will help us out, because we don't want to be, everybody maybe have gotten their money, maybe, but we have not received anything, since we don't have any property. And I just want, some kind of possibly reparations in some kind of form that will help my sister and I out. And I hope you can do that. Thank you.
And what happens to the people who, the 10 people, well, they're claiming 16 got their benefits, but clearly 2 didn't get benefits because you're about to give them cash. And in the last meeting, February 2nd, it was stated only 10 have been serviced. So I don't know. You figure out the Evanston Reparations Committee, because I just don't understand. So what happens to those 10 who have received their benefits or in the process of receiving their benefits? They're getting the new toilets, the new windows, the home improvement as their reparation, or, getting their mortgage paid down, or being forced to get a bank loan to buy property because they have no other choice, which is what they tried to do to the Weidmans, tried to get them to buy property. And the Weidmans were like, we're at a stage in our life where, no, we don't want to take care of a house or apply for a loan and all of that. They had made that clear, I guess, early on in the process when they were, approved. So, yeah. So what happens to those 10? Now do they feel slighted? Like, well, wait a minute. You mean I could have got the cash directly in my hands as opposed to you sending the benefits to SEPA, the white-led organization out in Lake County, and them giving the money to their contractors and mortgage lenders that they have relationships with, of which none were Black? So you mean I had that choice? Because we were led to believe that that wasn't possible. But now all of a sudden you got access to that money and you can give it direct.
It's not real reparations unless you give the descendants of slavery actual money and let them choose how they want to spend it, as if they're adults. Ooh. But still, congratulations to the Black people of Evanston, and congratulations to all the white people who are going to find a way to game the system.
So Alderperson Devon Reed steps in, as always, on the Evanston Reparations Committee and questions. He always brings a new approach, a new thought. I see them as always dismissing him. He says, they don't dismiss me, but, he is very supportive of them, but he's always trying to get them to do the right thing, and they just never want to go in that direction. So he's kind of giving a warning, like, that's a bad idea. You can't give direct cash payments to 2 and then not give it to the others. That is a very bad idea. You're going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths. Like, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. So he wanted to pass a motion Thursday, March 2nd, that they allow for direct cash payments for everyone. So he voted no to passing that the Weidmans get the 50 grand. not because he doesn't think that they deserve it, but because you can't allow it for two people and then not put in the motion to make it happen for the remaining that's on the list. So he's a leader. He's thinking like that, like that. No, you can't do that to the people. You can't do that to the people. Um, so he voted no. Of course, the others followed. Yes, give it to them, not thinking about how it was going to impact the others or how they will feel about it. And Alderperson Chrissy Harris is related to the Weidmans, and she's on the Evanston Reparations Committee. So she did not vote. She said, I'm a family member, their family. So she recused herself from voting on that. But she didn't fight for direct cash payments for everyone. Like, even though this is her family that's being called to this motion, I felt like she should have said, I know this is my family, but I got to look out for everyone as well. I'm an alderman now. I'm an alderperson now. And we can't do this to the people. But it was Devon Reed, Alderperson Devon Reed, who spoke for the people. So it was very, very interesting. And Robin Rue Simmons, the chair of Evanston Reparations Committee, would not second the motion for Devon with the let's get everyone direct cash payments.
One item that is for action, we have a quorum, and this is number 3, Restorative Housing Program Amendments. And we all know that, thank you. We all know that we have selected our first 16. We have actually randomly ordered all of the ancestors that have applied. We have selected our first 16 and dispersed those that have identified how they want to use their benefit. We have 2 that have not been able to use the benefit in the way that the program was initially written. And we have 2 residents that are recipients of the benefit that are not homeowners, do not plan to purchase a home, and do not have descendants to pass their benefit down to. And we have been in discussion on how do we satisfy these elders in our community. And after sufficient counsel from our corporation counsel and committee review, I want to make a motion that we extend a cash benefit of $25,000 to each of the 2 that are unable to otherwise use their benefit. Discussion?
Okay, there we go. Thank you. I certainly support that motion, but I think we should, I think if we're amending the program, we should amend the program, and not just for the 2, but make a program amendment to allow for, whether it's just for the ancestors or whoever, or the whole program, to allow direct cash benefits for everyone, for the full group. I think just to make an amendment to the program for the 2 folks would miss the mark of creating an actual program that is sustainable for everyone who has a similar issue. I'd imagine that these 2 aren't the only 2 who have this issue amongst the seniors or amongst the ancestors. So I would recommend a friendly amendment to just allow direct cash benefits for at least all ancestors, if not everyone in the program.
No, with all due respect, I think that at this point we have been trying to determine how to address these 2 recipients, and that this really isn't a forum today for us to decide on the entire program. And I think we need to look at what the motion that has been seconded is on, that is on the floor.
Yeah, I appreciate the motion, and of course, I know that everyone on the committee wants to do right by everyone who's applied for reparations, and even those who have yet. But again, to amend a program just for 2 people when we can anticipate that there will be more than just those 2 who would benefit from direct cash payments and appreciate direct cash payments that offers, I think we would. I think it's the best mistake we could possibly make to make sure that these 2 folks get direct cash payments. But I think it would be a mistake to not amend the program overall and allow, again, whether it's everyone who applied, whether it's ancestors and descendants or just the ancestors, particularly the ancestors, I think we should make this amendment concrete and clear so everyone has this option.
So let me add something, because I think we have solved for exactly saying, in further discussion with Corporation Counsel, it would come with a additional, I guess, would be amended language to those that have applied already, that this option is available in these instances. But we do have to develop more programs. As you know, we're all looking to get to what's next after this restorative housing benefit. We still need to get to economic development and educational initiatives. But do you think that solves for the challenge that you're seeing right now?
Yeah, I just think that the motion, if that's going to be the action, the motion should reflect that action. So I think instead of the motion being to allow for direct cash benefits for the 2 recipients, that the motion should be to allow for direct cash payments for ancestors. Or,
So I'm not clear on the, so we don't have legal here to fold that in properly. So I would be careful about how, I believe we're saying the same exact thing. Mr. Sutton, it looks like you might be ready to speak.
Yes, I have parliamentary concern. Who made the amendment? Because,
I just made the motion.
okay, then you can either accept the amendment or deny it, and then we can table it for another discussion.
Well, let's,
Who made the amendment has the privilege to not accept an amendment to their motion.
can we agree to do this right now? And because I definitely want to explore further Councilmember Reed's point, and I think that it's being solved for based on the conversation that we've had already with Corporation Counsel. Can we take a vote on the 2 that are in question? Because they have been awarded a year ago, I believe it's this month, if I'm not mistaken. And there is an expectation that they should know how they can access their benefit. With
Well, we have to vote on the amendment first.
that motion has more discussion, Councilmember Reed?
I've had some conversations with Corporation Counsel. We know that we have obviously, we're even for these 2, we know we have the legal opinions that say this is acceptable. I would ask, I just don't think this amendment is clear enough, so I would move. I'd move to amend the program to allow for direct cash payments for the ancestors.
There's one motion. We do the first motion, then we do the second.
Can I, as a committee member, I'm not opposed to the sentiment and the plan that you are putting forth. I would like to move on the specific motion on the floor. And then my feeling is, before I would vote on what you're proposing, and the lawyer in me, I would like to see the language that we're adding to see if that satisfies it and we're all talking about the same thing. And without that, I would just I would feel more comfortable seeing that language before we talk about the future ones. Although in my conversations with council, I'm satisfied that with these two, I feel comfortable voting on that with what you're proposing to add to or a subsequent motion. I would like to have more information. We can't. So yes, we can't have. Thank you. Thank you, Bennett. So do you have any final discussion before we call the question on the first motion?
Mike, okay. There wasn't language in the packet on this motion, from my understanding there, and I think it's a very clear, what I'm proposing is very clear, that we would allow all of the ancestors to receive direct cash payments if they so choose. I understand certainly I've known a lot of lawyers and men, so I understand the lawyerly concerns, but I think we've discussed this for some time. We know that people have been calling for direct cash payments, particularly for the ancestor group. I think it would be a mistake and potentially, leave a worse sentiment in the community if we were only to make this amendment specifically for two folks, knowing surely well that there are more folks, certainly out of the ancestor group of 120 some odd people, that will be in a similar situation. So let's just fix this, and let's fix it now.
So I'm gonna add to that certainly if there are forthcoming circumstances as these two, this is all of these questions we had with Corporation Counsel, then there will be language to be determined, and I think that's where we would love to see the language that is going to be amended to understand exactly, is it a fourth option? Is it in the event you can't satisfy homeownership eligibility or so on? And so we're there, like we are there, Councilmember Reed. I think that it would make more sense to move forward so that we can satisfy the two that are in question and then learn more about how that cash benefit will be available to others. Will it be a fourth option? If you do satisfy all the requirements, but you just want cash, is that it? Is it just as a default if you are eligible for the other ways to have the benefit? I think for us to amend it without a discussion from our Corporation Counsel and his staff right now is I would be okay waiting until our next meeting. I would even be okay of coming in for a special meeting for this because I know that it's been a very important conversation. But today, I would love to be able to give a response to two ancestors who have not been able to take advantage of their benefit and receive the repair intended from this initiative. Committee Member Sutton?
Yes, even though the amendment might fail for lack of second, I think it's important that we go on and vote on it, because once we establish a precedent that there are options, then we can go back and, okay, but let's just vote on the amendment as presented without an addition to it.
I'm going to call the question right now. So I have made a motion that we extend a cash benefit to the two that are in question. We have a second from Committee Member Lockhart. Can we take a vote on that? Do I need a roll call vote?
No.
All in favor?
Call a roll.
Aye.
I'm making a motion for you to call the roll.
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Councilmember Reed.
No.
Councilmember Harris.
I abstain, their family members.
Committee Member Sutton.
Yes.
Committee Member Barber. Committee Member Lockhart. Committee Member Simmons.
Yes. Okay, that motion passes. So we will, those two
recipients, you know who you are. Please contact city staff directly. Tashik will be your initial point of contact for whatever is the next step. So I'm very happy to be able to move forward with that. Yes.
Right. Seek recognition. I would like to move that we amend the program overall to allow for direct cash benefits for all ancestors. There's a question for clarification. I move that we amend the housing program to allow direct cash benefits for all ancestors.
I don't plan to second it because I think we've solved for it in the conversations we've had already with Corporation Counsel. I'm okay waiting for him to be here and us to get an explanation on how we are amending the program.
Point of information for staff. So does this move forward to council for approval?
No. I spoke with Corporation Counsel and he said that this is a committee decision to extend $25,000 cash to them. I specifically asked that. An amendment to the program.
Yeah, I'm clarifying with David.
Okay. Well, then I would move that we come back as soon as possible, whether it's next week or the week after, because I think we have clear understanding. We should have clear understanding on this, and I would like us to get the program right as soon as possible and make sure that all ancestors have this opportunity and don't feel aren't left with a sour taste in their mouth because we're amending the program for two folks and not for everyone. So
I think
The fact that the community wanted direct cash payments out the gate, but the reparations committee wouldn't fight, even put it on the table for the community to mobilize and fight for the direct cash payments for their reparations. It was never put on the table for us to come up behind Robin Ruth Simmons and say, yes, this is what we want. No, it went straight to new toilets, new windows, get this bank loan so you get this property. Yeah. So the choice was taken out of the community's hands. So she didn't second it, and it was clear she didn't really support it, and she wanted attorney Nick Cummings to be present to talk about how this could possibly be amended. Yeah, Devon Reed has been trying to get them to amend that for a while now. That has come to question by many in the community at public comment for 3 years now. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, let's talk to Nick Cummings and see if it's even possible. So, it was already starting to cause some distrust around Evanston Reparations and the committee and how they've been operating. Now it's really there. So you mean to tell us you could have got this cash a long time ago? Devon Reed had asked Robin Ruth Simmons, so are you going to pass this through city council for a vote? And she said, no. Attorney Nick Cummings said, I don't have to. I can, just as a committee, it can pass through this committee and I can go get the money and give it to the Weidmans without the city council knowing anything, doing anything, voting on anything. So Alderperson Devon Reed requested a special meeting. Let's have a meeting. Let's have a discussion about this. So Robin Ruth Simmons, of course, the cameras are on. You got to agree to it. Like, okay, we could do a virtual meeting, a hybrid meeting. I'll be virtual. But first, let's talk to Nick Cummings. And, Nick Cummings is pretty much going to do whatever. put it this way, Nick Cummings and Alderperson Devon Reed don't always see eye to eye on things. Often they don't see eye to eye on things. And whatever Devon Reed brings to the table, Nick Cummings is going to find some legal something to say, I would advise against it. Because if Nick Cummings really, was working with the committee to get direct cash payments, it seemed to be really easy and quick for the Weidmans, but it hasn't been for the past 3 years. So when they do have this meeting, which we're waiting on that date and time, maybe by the time this video posts, we'll know the date and time of this special meeting to discuss direct amending to offer direct cash payments after all this time, after everyone has been saying we want direct cash payments. Now all of a sudden, oh, it might be possible because we had to give it to the Weidmans to make sure we don't get sued or we look bad to the press. So now it's going to look like, oh, Evanston Reparations Committee is getting us direct cash payments. No, Alderperson Devon Reed has been pushing for that for the longest, and the door was always shut in his face, as well as community members who have come forward saying, we want direct cash payments. The door was always shut in their face. But now it might be possible. So please, if you can, come to this meeting, and you have to back Alderperson Devon Reed. You have to back him up in this push, in this fight. If you want direct cash payments, direct 25 grand, direct to you, no white-led organization out in Lake County will touch your money. No other organization set up for side hustles will touch your money. It goes direct to you. If that's what you want for your reparations, then I highly suggest you attend that meeting and be heard for what you want for your reparations. Me personally, I voiced in the March 2nd meeting, I think Black people in this country need to be tax exempt and or direct cash payments and or free healthcare. To me, those 3 things are real and will make a difference. New windows, a new toilet, a new shower. Doesn't really, I don't know. I mean, some people really need it. No one's against anyone getting a housing program, but being proud that was a new toilet, a new shower was my reparations for all of what my family and myself have gone through. No.
Malika, can you unmute? We're going to unmute you to speak.
Yes, I'm unmuted. We don't have much time. First, I want to say thank you to Alderperson Devon Reed for speaking for the people and understanding that it is not right to give direct cash payments to 2 people and not everyone. And first of all, we never even fought for the rollout to be direct cash payments. That's number 1. So thank you, Alderperson Devon Reed. I watch the reparation meetings, and you're always looking out for the people. You get dismissed and disrespected often in the reparations committee meetings, but I want to thank you if no one else does. My question is, so far you've said $400,000 has gone to the first 16, even though only 10 have actually been serviced out of the 16, which is worse.
That's not accurate. Keep going.
That's what you said in the February 2nd meeting. I have it recorded. Okay, so $400,000, and then you came before to look for additional funding, which we appreciate, to take care of the ancestors, which I don't like calling them ancestors either. Then Mr. Clayton in the February 2nd meeting said So the cannabis tax dollars is coming in, but they can't tell us because there's not 5 cannabis dispensaries in Evanston, so we'll never know how much money is actually coming in from cannabis. That's one. But Mr. Clayton also said that you have donation money that you've been using. So what have you been using the donation money on?
Can I respond to something? Yeah,
Can you clear up all of the faucets?
yeah, so I just want to go line by line. First, I appreciate the recognition there, but I certainly want to say that I don't feel necessarily dismissed by this body. I appreciate everyone's perspectives, and I believe the best intentions in everyone on this committee, and that everyone's trying to protect the program, even when we have disagreements. So I think we're all working together to do what's best. As far as the sales tax, I agree. It's frustrating that we will not have some of the sales tax information, exact numbers, because of laws that are dictated by the state. That's a frustration that's somewhat unavoidable for us, and that we don't have power to change. What were some of the questions that? Oh, yeah. So from my understanding, no money has gone to anything but the direct to the ancestors. We haven't used money to administer the program. SEPA hasn't received funding for this. There are 2 separate funds. There's certainly the donations that are going to the city, and then there's the donations to the Reparations Stakeholder Authority. And I don't believe they've used any of those funds either. But those are 2 separate funds. What was? Yeah. And I think we're at everyone except for the 2 folks, which we decided today. Yes. So yeah, we've awarded. Well, then did one of the 16 pass away? No. Okay, one of the 16 has not passed away. So yeah. So hopefully after today, everyone in the initial 16 will have received reparations funding. I believe that was really the prompt of the questions there. But really appreciate your advocacy.
Wait a minute. It was supposed to be a dialogue. Mr. Clayton said on February 2nd that you have been using the donations that have come in. I have it recorded.
Yeah, I think I might have missed that meeting, Tashik.
Yeah, Devon, you weren't there, but Mr. Clayton said, I have it recorded, that you've been using donations. This isn't the cannabis money. Of course, we'll never know how much money has been played with the cannabis. We'll never know.
I think Mr. Clayton may have been mistaken. If he did say that, I think he may have been mistaken. If any of the donation money was used, which I don't believe it has been used yet, it's gone to the ancestors.
He was referring to the transfer. He was just
No, he wasn't talking about, he wasn't talking about the real estate transfer. He's talking about money that's already been used. He said that. It's in the recording. It's in the meeting. I'll post it. I'll post it to social media.
I'm happy to look into this.
I'll post it so the people get the details. And none of what I say is falsehoods. Everything that I state and put out there on social media is based off of your meetings. I just happen to be an independent thinker, period. Robin, I respect you. I love that you have made reparations a real conversation across the country. I think you are phenomenal for doing that. But what is happening right here in Evanston for reparations, it's wrong. And I think you need to amend and go back and start over because it's not right. We should be tax exempt in this country, Black people. That's reparations. We should receive direct cash payments. That's reparations for Black people. And we should receive free health care for life. That's reparations. Free toilets and new windows? No. That is not our reparations. We'll never see eye to eye. We'll never see eye to eye on that. But I love my people like you say you love your people. Make it real. Tax exemption, direct cash payments, free health care, something real that's going to help us. Not free new toilets and new windows. And there should be no side hustles, organizations capitalizing in the name of reparations.
Tax exemption, direct cash payments, free healthcare. Those three things I think will make a difference in anyone's life. One of the three, you know. But please attend that meeting if you want direct cash payments. If you're fine with home improvement and being pushed to get a bank loan for new property because that's what you want, and 25K is all you need to get your property here in Evanston, then you don't need to attend the meeting. But if you're one of those residents who has been saying, I want direct cash payments since day one, and the door was always shut in your face about it, then I highly suggest you attend this meeting and you back Alderperson Devon Reed up and be heard, Absolutely. So from that March 2nd meeting, the Weidmans, the vote did pass. It didn't matter that Devon voted no. It didn't matter that Chrissy recused herself from the vote. It still passed. They had a quorum. And so the Weidmans will get their 50K, which they do deserve, but everyone else on that list should have that opportunity as well to choose direct cash payments. And there's a lot we don't know about what's really going on with the reparations funds in Evanston, because you can't follow the money. You really can't. The cannabis tax dollars coming in, they've cited state law for why they can't let us know how much money has actually been coming in from cannabis tax sales. Now that the second dispensary is opening up, people thought, oh, well, now maybe they'll be able to tell us because there's a new dispensary opening up on Howard Street, because they told us they couldn't tell us before because there's only one dispensary. So now there's going to be two. Well, they're saying that no, there has to be 5 cannabis dispensaries in Evanston before they can tell you how much money has been coming in. And then the Evanston Reparations Committee also has the donation fund that's at the city of Evanston. And Mr. Clayton from the CFO office at the city spoke at the February 2nd meeting, and he said that the donation funds, that they're using them, that they've been using them. We don't know nothing about that. We don't know nothing about the amount. We don't know where they've been spending it, how they've been spending it, who they've been spending it on. But I was told in the March 2nd meeting, when I brought it up and asked, what's up with the donation fund? I was told that I was spewing out a falsehood. And I said, well, no, because Mr. Clayton said it in your meeting. I get all of my reparations, Evanston reparations information from your meetings directly. I pulled the clips. And this is what Mr. Clayton clearly stated. Devon was like, he looked to Robin. Robin wasn't saying anything. She wouldn't respond to that. Devon said, well, maybe Mr. Clayton misspoke.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to talk this morning. So Tashik asked about how we can be more transparent with reporting. With the new real estate transfer tax, I think that we can be very transparent on a month-to-month basis how much money we're bringing in from that. Tashik can report back out to the committee how well that new revenue source is doing, and that money is immediately accessible and ready for the committee to use as it comes in. Same for donations, of course, as you've been using those. The problem does come into play when we're talking about cannabis revenue. So the Illinois Department of Revenue has issued a rule that says we cannot in any way disclose until we have 5 such businesses in our community the amount of recreational cannabis tax that we're receiving. So the problem with the question as she presented it to me was, if you combine real estate transfer tax plus donations plus cannabis tax, and we were to provide you that number, you're able to FOIA the community and say, how much real estate transfer tax is there? How many donations are there? And very easily determine the amount of recreational cannabis tax. So we have a way of helping mask the actual amount of recreational cannabis that comply with IDOR rules. And so we can be transparent with the other two, but until we have 5 such cannabis businesses in our community, we have to make sure we're following the law on that. So I hope that answers the question. And if you have any other questions.